I know that some people don't want to travel at all with their little kids because they don't know what it'll be like on the plane or at destination, or if they're going to be running around restaurants, or
True.
if they need a leash, which I've tried.
Really? Hi everybody, we want to welcome you back to Parent with Purpose, and today we're going to have a few topics that we haven't had quite yet. One of them is about traveling with kids. Our guest speaker today is a travel agent and a co-worker, kind of friend of mine, because that's how we met. As well, we're going to talk about some birthing and some issues that might happen with birthing. So we're going to start with the light and easy stuff about traveling with children.
Yes.
And so Melissa, thank you for being here today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
And we are going to have Melissa's name in the title. So if you do have any questions for Melissa, please make sure you come on over to the actual website and put your questions down in there, and I will make sure that we get them to Melissa if you have anything you want to know. So now you have 2 children.
I do.
And their ages?
They are 3 and 6.
3 and 6. And so you have traveled with them quite a bit, being a travel agent.
Yes.
And you've traveled with them when you've been together with their dad, and as a person who is traveling alone with children.
Yes.
So kind of compare those two and tell me what your fears were, or what happened, or how that all worked for you.
Yes. Well, when I used to travel with their dad, it was always a handful with 2 little ones. I know that some people don't want to travel at all with their little kids because they don't know what it'll be like on the plane or at destination, or if they're going to be running around restaurants, or
True.
if they need a leash, which I've tried. So I came from that place of having always had another partner to, so we wouldn't really be outnumbered, to going to being just on my own. And I didn't think I would be able to do it. I used to not even want to go on day trips with them alone, but I did end up doing it, and it wasn't as bad as I thought. And the kids really actually stepped up to the plate. They realized it's just us and Mom, and we're going to have to really listen, and they had a great time.
So I have a silly question to ask
Yes.
here. How do you go to the bathroom when you don't have somebody else there to take care of the kids?
So if you're on land,
Yes.
it's no problem. I usually just bring them with me, have them either inside the stall, they're young enough still, they're inside the stall, or they're outside the stall holding hands and I'm talking to them.
Right.
Actually, it's funny that you mentioned that, because that was the biggest struggle that I had with them on the plane.
On the plane.
Because I
Who do
realized...
you trust them with?
Exactly. So I realized at one point, I'm like, I can't bring them in the stall with me.
No.
So I said to them, I'm going to the washroom. You know, it's really small. And I went, and I was so nervous the whole time. I wasn't sitting too far from the washroom. I came back and they were still watching Frozen or whatever, and didn't even realize that I had left.
Right.
They had cookies and pop and they were happy. But it was the first time that I did that was very stressful. And when I got home, a lot of people were saying to me, well, it's not like they can go anywhere.
That's true.
And that is very true.
That is very true.
So I was worried about them being, freaking out, looking up and realizing I wasn't there. But really, that was actually the biggest challenge on the whole entire trip, was going to the washroom on a plane. And so if you can do that, you can do anything, really.
Well, and that's when I had kids. I had 4 of them. We went camping, and that to me was the biggest struggle.
Right.
Every time I went to the washroom, I had to drag all 4 of them with me. It
Right.
was like, this is crazy. Or they had to go to the bathroom.
Right.
I had to drag all of us. And it was like we spent most of our time just taking trips to the bathroom. So
Yeah.
Well, what about the stewardess? Would they have been able to help?
Yes, actually, I do like to fly WestJet, and I have to say that their whole staff, they're prepared, they're on the ball, they're keeping an eye out, and that's wherever I've gone. I've actually found that the staff have been really helpful. I tend not to go to the lower end resorts for that reason. I kind of usually pick a resort that I know that the staff are very well trained and hands-on. Sometimes it costs a little bit extra, but I know that even when I go to the buffet, I've had staff come up to me and be like, well, I'm going to help you carry your plate to the table and that kind of thing, or like wrangle the kids, or somewhere that's used to having kids. So that really helped. Yeah,
that's actually a good tip.
Yeah.
I've never even thought about the buffet table,
Yeah.
right? Because the kids are going to be not right with you there as well.
Exactly.
Right.
And I had another friend, and she actually told me that I've been doing the buffet wrong the whole time, and that is that there's 3 of us, you grab 3 plates and you heap one, and then you bring it to the buffet with you. So that actually did make a world of difference.
That actually would. So,
Yeah.
see, and there's another tip.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So
Okay.
holding 3 plates isn't
It's
so,
not possible.
Right.
Exactly. So you actually have a whole list of tips that are actually going to be below here in the website, so
Yes.
that anybody who is interested in traveling with children, she wrote this, so please come on over and check that out. That's awesome that's there and available
Yes.
for them. So
yeah.
we're going to move on to some of the birthing issues that you had.
Oh,
You know, all moms, dads get excluded from this, and this is a parenting talk show, so we try to keep that usually open, but guys are excluded from this, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But birthing isn't fun at the best of times. And your first was okay, your second you had some issues. So let's
right.
kind of share that story.
Yeah, the first I thought I had it all down pat and I knew what I was doing. I talked and laughed through the whole thing. It was really long, but it ended up okay.
Mm-hmm.
The pregnancy was hard and the birth was easy. My daughter, the second one, it was a little bit different. The whole pregnancy was easy and the day of birth was really hard.
Mm-hmm.
I was induced with her and they told me that I hadn't gone into labor. And I said, I'm sure I have. I've done this before. I'm in labor. And they said, no, you're not. You're going home. And of course, it got really intense at home after a few hours. And I rushed back to the hospital. The doctor wasn't even there when I gave birth. It was a nurse younger than myself with no kids and purple hair. And I'm pretty sure
She was probably stressed too.
she was stressed. And I had to apologize to her afterwards because, my daughter was sunny side up. I didn't have time for the whole epidural to work and kick in. And I guess my water had broke before and I wasn't aware of it. So it was just the perfect combination of
everything going wrong.
everything going wrong, and it was not what I had planned at all. But that's the thing with parenting, when you figure that you know how everything's going to go, it doesn't go that way at all. So
That's so true.
Yeah.
And anybody who's followed me at all knows that one of the titles of the website in my book is I was the perfect parent and then I had kids, because it's when we have kids that we realize we really don't know very much at all.
exactly.
I actually got induced with my third because they said he was overdue, but I was overdue 2 weeks with each one of my kids, so I really wasn't overdue, but they still really thought so. Anyways, after 3 inductions, I said, I'm going home, and they said, well, only if you promise to come back tomorrow. So I lied and said, okay. I didn't come back that day. I came back a week later, which is when I figured he was supposed to be coming, because my other 2 had already been 2 weeks late. I had gained 20 pounds in that 1 week because of all of this stuff, and it still took 2 more inductions for him to come out. And all my kids came out jaundiced, so they were not overdue. Like, they were not overdue. None of them were overdue. But those little things that, hindsight's great, but at the time they go, this is what you need to do, and you go, okay. But I definitely shouldn't have done it. It was really bad for him, and it was bad for me. He ended up getting RSV, and I think a lot of that was because of the medication in my system. But anyway, we survived. The kids are here.
Yes.
If nothing else, we're proving to our kids how much we love them because of what we did to get them here.
That's
right.
Yeah.
I just want to thank you so much for being here and for allowing us inside of your life for a little bit.
Well, thank you.
And hopefully this has helped somebody out there who is either, afraid of birthing, because we're all there. So if you have any stories on that you'd like to share that might help somebody else, or if you have any traveling tips other than what Melissa will be having down there for you that we haven't thought of, we'd love those tips as well. And if your comments will help just one person, it's all worth it. As always, we want to wish you an awesome day.